Edinburgh for the Young and Curious podcast.
Hi there, and welcome to Edinburgh for the Young and Curious podcast. I'm your host, Miller, and I'm a first-year student studying at Edinburgh Napier. In this episode, I will cover Edinburgh's affordability challenge with rent and the cost of living crisis, which affects many students, and the highlights of student life, including Edinburgh's great nightlife and amazing transport offerings, with some budgeting basics. I also have some interviews with my friends who have recently moved to the city to ask what they think about Edinburgh. So, without further ado, let's get started. Edinburgh is often named one of the most beautiful and culturally rich cities in the UK, but let's get real. Isn't it an affordable place for a student to live? The truth is a little complicated and requires some savvy budgeting. Now let's start with Edinburgh's money challenges. Let's be real, Edinburgh is one of the most expensive cities to live in the UK. Rent for a student can average between £800 and up to £2,000 per month for many. This is with a mix of private accommodation run by the universities in Edinburgh, and also private housing. As many students know, accommodation is one of the biggest drains on finances. For me personally, accommodation is my biggest finance, ranging from about £800 to £850 a month, depending on other bills that I have within the accommodation. However, I think this is because I live very close to the centre of Edinburgh, with only being about a 20-minute walk. For what I would recommend for some budgeting tips is live in areas out with major student areas like Marchmont and Newington. So live in areas like Leith or Dalry. I live quite near to Dalry, so even though my rent is expensive, it is a bit cheaper because I'm not straight into the centre of Edinburgh, and I live around 10 minutes away from campus. However, many University of Edinburgh students live in these areas because they're very close to campus. From research, I have found that many houses in Leith and Dalry are much cheaper than the offerings in Marchmont, because you're out with a student area and more in a residential area. However, you still got the benefit of being close into the centre, having the lovely bus network, which takes you straight into Princes Street in around 20 minutes. While Edinburgh is a really expensive city for most, it is still significantly cheaper than London. You get a world-class city experience for a much lower cost than the capital. Also, for Scottish students, you don't have to worry about tuition as it's covered by the Scottish Government and SAS. This means that you're paying nothing every year for your education compared to England and Wales, where they pay around £9,000 every year. While you aren't saving any money right now, in the future this leads to huge savings with you only having to pay for your loan. It is a huge financial offset, and it makes many want to stay in Scotland for their studies. Scotland also has world-leading education with some of the best universities in the world, like the University of Edinburgh, the University of Glasgow, and the University of St Andrews, constantly being in the top 200 for studies. However, with this high rent, there's mostly no travel costs in Edinburgh. In Edinburgh, transport is key. Luckily, the Scottish Government have financed the Young Scot bus card scheme, which allows for people from the ages of 5 to 22 to travel on buses for free as long as they live in Scotland. This means that many can travel to university, to town, and also take trips on the weekend for nothing. This is huge compared to other UK countries like England, where they have to pay an average of £3 for a bus fare. I mean, imagine having to pay every time you go to uni, and all them costs piling up on top of your rent. I could never. We all know as students that budgeting is key. I usually budget between £400 to £600 every month for food, utilities, and socialising. I always try and cook at home when I can, however that usually does not happen as I'm very lazy when it comes to cooking. But when I do shop, I shop at budget supermarkets like Aldi or Lidl and avoid shopping at small local supermarkets like Sainsbury's, Tesco Express or the Co-op. Now I have some interviews with my friends Christabel and Hannah. They moved to the city like me in September, and we'll talk about their experiences in Edinburgh and what they think it's like for young people. Hi Christabel, welcome to the podcast. Can you please introduce yourself for the audience?
Yeah, I'm Christabel, I'm 18 and I live in Edinburgh.
So, and where do you originally come from?
I'm from Glasgow.
So, why did you come to Edinburgh in the first place?
Because it's a nice city and my uni's here, so.
And do you study at Napier?
I study at Napier, yes.
What do you study?
I study cybersecurity and forensics.
Very nice. What do you think of Edinburgh as a young person yourself?
I think Edinburgh is very pretty, like everything is accessible, the buses are easy, and there's like a lot of like shopping malls and there's things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like Edinburgh.
And what do you think of the nightlife in Edinburgh?
Well, I haven't been out too much, like maybe once or twice, but so far I thought it was good. Yeah,
That's good.
it's nice.
That's good. And how does it compare to Glasgow, since that's your home city? How would you compare the two?
I think Glasgow is more local. Like Edinburgh's full of tourists, but then Edinburgh's like a better looking city.
Yes,
like
yeah.
it's fresher. The weather's better. The roads are like it's just you can tell it was built on tourism.
Yes,
It's a nice city.
Yes, I agree. Is there anything that you'd want to change about Edinburgh?
The night buses, because there's no reason I should be paying £3.50.
Yeah, £3.50 just to go on
Just
the bus.
to go on the bus
after
after
midnight.
midnight. It's not fair. It's
No.
not nice.
And even then, they're very limited. I
They're
think
very,
around
very
here, there's one every hour.
Genuinely.
It's ridiculous.
Indeed.
Do you think that the city is expensive? So like your rent, how much you pay for food, just activities in general?
I'd say I wouldn't say the food prices differ too much in Glasgow, but like for rent wise, it's very much expensive. And of course, like Glasgow doesn't have the night buses, so that's another expense in Edinburgh that discourages people from going out because that's just extra spending of money. So, yeah, I'd say Edinburgh is expensive.
And how much do you pay for your rent every week?
I pay 803 every month,
Okay.
so that's roughly about 200 per week.
Yes. And do you think that's too much?
I think that's quite a lot.
And can you keep up with that as a student?
Not really.
Yeah.
Without the help of SAS,
Then God knows
then,
what would go on.
child.
And can you see yourself living in Edinburgh after university? So will you be seeking for jobs in Edinburgh or will you look somewhere else?
I definitely will. I think Edinburgh's a really nice city, and I think it's got a load of opportunities because it's quite big. Obviously, the city is nice as well. It's a nice community to raise your kids. The only problem is, of course, the expenses. It's quite expensive, but if my paycheck allows me, hell yeah.
And do you think it's worth it to move to Edinburgh as a young person?
As a young person with not much income, maybe not. But if you're more stable, then I think Edinburgh is one of the greatest cities that you could live in.
Okay, well, thank you so much for this interview, Christabel.
You're welcome.
Thank
Bye.
you. Okay, you're fine. Okay, so hi, Hannah. Welcome to the podcast. Can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm 18 years old and I'm from the Isle of Lewis.
So when and why did you come to Edinburgh?
I came to Edinburgh at the start of September so I could go to university.
And what do you study?
I'm studying psychology in Napier.
Lovely. And what do you think of Edinburgh as a young person?
I think it's very good. There's lots of things to do shopping-wise and lots of places to go for young people, like pubs and clubs and stuff.
And what do you think of the nightlife in Edinburgh?
Oh, it's great. There's so many things about to do and everyone's just out and about having
Have
fun.
you got a favourite club?
I love Subway. It's great. It's my all-time favourite.
Yep. And how does it compare to the Isle of Lewis, where you're originally from?
It's so much better.
Really?
Like, yeah, where I'm from, there's like 2 shops and 4 pubs, and it's a really big change, but it's a really good one.
And is there anything that you could that you would want to change about Edinburgh? Anything in particular?
I don't know. I haven't gotten used to the city yet to make any, anything up to change. Everything's still quite new to me, so that's probably still up to consideration.
So compared to your regular prices, do you think that Edinburgh is an expensive city to live in for you?
Probably like rent-wise and stuff like that is probably more expensive. But other than that, I haven't noticed a change so far, but that'll probably change when I go to other places.
What about for your food shop or anything?
Food shop, probably much cheaper, because like stuff on the island, it would cost much more because the travel I had to go through, but yeah, not that much at all.
Good to hear. And can you see yourself living in Edinburgh when you're finished your degree?
Yeah, I can. I really like it, and I would definitely stay for longer after my degree. I'm not like counting down the hours till I leave, so yeah, it'll be nice to stay.
Well, thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to my friends Christabel and Hannah. I found them interviews really insightful and I really start to understand how a student feels in Edinburgh. Now, moving on. However, I think the reason students are willing to pay a premium to live here is simple. The trade-off is an unparalleled student experience. Edinburgh isn't just a place to study, it's a living and breathing UNESCO World Heritage Site full of energy. While Edinburgh is expensive, it has lots of free activities. You can hike up Arthur's Seat or Calton Hill for the best free views. The National Museum of Scotland and the Scottish National Gallery offer free permanent collections. In the warmer months, you could even enjoy a picnic at student hotspots like the Meadows or Holyrood Park. You would also trade off unforgettable career opportunities. As home of the Scottish Parliament, a major financial sector, and numerous tech/creative businesses, Edinburgh offers excellent part-time work and internship opportunities for students looking to boost their CV and bank account. You would not get these opportunities in smaller cities like Stirling or Aberdeen. Edinburgh also boasts an unbeatable nightlife. The city has a pub for every mood, from traditional Scottish pubs with live folk music in the Grassmarket to student-focused bars with discounts in the Old Town. My friends tell me that they go to nightclubs like Why Not and Subway. These offer regular student discounts and are definitely worth the money. Edinburgh is also close to many other major cities in Scotland, like Dundee and Glasgow. Glasgow is only a 40-minute train away and offers great shopping and lovely views. Students can also use apps like Uni Days and Student Beans for regular discounts on food and drink all around the city. I mean, who would say no to 20% off Starbucks, which is only 2 minutes away from campus? Well, in conclusion, while Edinburgh is really expensive, it's definitely worth it for the student experience. While rent is high, you can get many free activities throughout the city. Thanks for listening and have a good rest of your day. Bye!